The Torah, the foundational text of Judaism, encompassing the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, has had a profound and enduring impact on Western civilization, shaping its religious, moral, legal, philosophical, and cultural foundations. Below is a detailed breakdown of this influence across key domains. 1. Religious foundations of the West. Monotheism. The Torah introduced ethical monotheism, the revolutionary idea that there is one, all-powerful, morally concerned God. This idea shaped Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all Abrahamic faiths central to Western religious thought. Creation narrative. The Torah's account of a purposeful creation by a divine being influenced the Western worldview, replacing chaotic pagan mythologies with a structured, linear conception of history and purpose. Sabbath and sacred time. The concept of a weekly day of rest, Shabbat, was adopted and adapted by Christianity as Sunday, influencing labor laws and cultural rhythms throughout the Western world. 2. Moral and ethical Kedeth, 10 Commandments. These form a moral backbone for Western civilization, advocating principles such as respect for life, for example, you shall not murder; respect for family, for example, honor your father and mother; integrity, for example, you shall not steal or bear false witness; justice and human dignity. Laws such as protecting the vulnerable, orphans, widows, the poor, the foreigner laid groundwork for Western ideals of human rights and social justice. 3. Legal influenceth. Torah's legal code, especially in Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy, formed the blueprint for Western legal systems in key ways. Equality before the law. The Torah commands that justice must be blind to status. Acts 23-3, Lev. 1915. Due process. The need for witnesses, courts, and just judgment influenced Roman law and later Anglo-American legal systems. Covenant law. The idea of a people bound to a legal and moral code influenced the development of constitutionalism and the social contract, seen later in thinkers like Locke and Rousseau. 4. Philosophical legacy. Nature of man. The Torah asserts humans are created in the image of God, Genesis 1:27, forming the theological philosophical basis for individual dignity, freedom, and equality, concepts central to Western liberal democracy. Free will and moral responsibility. The Torah presents humans as moral agents responsible for their actions, a view that shaped Western ideas of law, ethics, and accountability. History as progress. Unlike cyclical pagan cosmologies, the Torah introduced the idea of linear history, a narrative moving toward redemption and justice, deeply influencing Christian and secular Western progressivism. 5. Cultural and educational impact to literacy and study. The Torah encouraged communal reading, study, and debate, creating a culture of scholarship that inspired the Western emphasis on literacy, education, and critical thinking. Biblical literacy. Much of Western literature, art, and political rhetoric from Shakespeare to Lincoln to Jr. is infused with Torah-derived imagery, themes, and allusions. 6. Impact through Christianity. Christianity adopted the Torah as the Old Testament and spread its ideas globally, often blending Torah principles with Greco-Roman philosophy. Jesus' teachings emphasized Torah ethics, especially from Deuteronomy and Leviticus. Christian theology spread concepts like original sin, covenant, and divine law, deeply rooted in Torah. 7. Modern political thought. Rule of law and republicanism. The Torah's model of a society governed by law, not by arbitrary kings, contributed to later models of limited government. American founding fathers. Many of them, for example, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, were inspired by Hebrew scripture and the idea of a chosen people, establishing a just society under divine law, paralleling the Exodus and Sinai covenant. 8. Social movements and reform. Abolitionism. Civil rights, women's rights, and labor reforms in the West often drew directly from Torah-based moral arguments. Let my people go, Exodus, became the rallying cry for oppressed peoples. Prophetic calls for justice, for example, Isaiah, Micah, part of the Hebrew Bible tradition rooted in Torah law, have inspired reformers throughout Western history. In summary, the Torah revolutionized human thought by introducing the moral law of a just God, the dignity of the individual, and the possibility of a righteous society under law. Its profound imprint is felt across religion, legitimacy, justice. It is no exaggeration to say that Western civilization's highest ideals, freedom, justice, human dignity, moral responsibility, have roots that can be traced directly to the Torah. Would you like a visual timeline or a breakdown of specific biblical laws that later appeared in European or American legal codes?